African wild dog pack versus lion pride. Who would win a fight? It's scary enough out in the wild knowing a single predator may be hunting you. What if it's an entire pack? Pack hunters are one of the most frightful and most dangerous things in this world, and Africa is a land that has many of them. Everyone knows about the lion pride, perhaps the pack hunters that should be most feared, or what about African wild dogs? Those are deadly animals that are extremely great hunters as well, but forget about which one should scare you more. Is one of them more scared of the other? If it was a pack of African wild dogs versus a pride of lions, who would win this ultimate battle of dogs versus cats? Lions. Some think the lion is overhyped, like it isn't one of the most ruthless killing machines on planet Earth. Their exploits may be covered more than any other predator, but for good reason. You should believe all the hype. We're going to break down for you why a lion isn't the most fearful big cat in the world, but lions are the most fearful big cats in the world. We promise that statement will make sense in a moment. And by the way, is the same perhaps true with our other competitor when it comes to predators of the canine persuasion? To start off with, lions, among all 7 big cats in the world, they are the second largest, only smaller than tigers. Tigers have them outsized by a bit, and thus are stronger. Lions are faster than tigers, but they aren't the fastest big cat. They lose that match to cheetahs and snow leopards, and find themselves in a tie with jaguars. And while the bite of a lion is devastating, it pales in comparison to the bite force of a tiger or a jaguar. Lions are agile creatures, but not quite as agile and athletic as the tigers that love to climb trees and stalk their prey from on high. So doesn't it seem like the bigger, stronger, more agile tiger, albeit slightly slower but also with more powerful jaws, is the bigger threat than the lion? Yes, it does. Now, don't make the mistake that the lion is small potatoes. For instance, the tiger's bite force is 1050 psi, while the lion's is 650 psi. That does not mean a lion's bite does not hurt. That means that you, unfortunate soul, whether you be a human, a hyena, an antelope, or an African wild dog, you who are about to feel that lion's mouth clamp down on you and experience those teeth sink into you, here is what it will feel like. For every square inch of you that has lion mouth clamping down on it, it will feel like a vending machine pressing down on you. Yes, a vending machine for every square inch, plus teeth. The consensus: lion, bad news. Tiger, worse news. However, when you see a tiger, you're unlucky because, well, you see a tiger. When you see a lion, please promise you will never gamble, because you are the unluckiest person alive. Because you see a lion, so that means there are several lions there, whether you see them or not. They're there. Lions are the only big cat that travels, and most importantly, hunts in a group. It doesn't matter that the lion is slightly smaller than the tiger. It doesn't matter that he's slightly less powerful and that his jaws aren't quite as strong, because there are at least 6 of them. There might be 10 of them. They're about 500 pounds each. They run 50 miles per hour, and when 5 o'clock rolls around, they're just like you. It's dinner time. They're hungry. You're hardwired to walk into the kitchen, pull out your plate of leftovers, and heat them up in the microwave. The lion is the exact same, only he is hardwired to eschew the kitchen and dash into the grasslands of Africa. His plate of leftovers is a 990-pound zebra that can run 40 miles per hour, so if he doesn't catch it, that means no dinner, and he doesn't like to skip meals. And reminder, there are 6 to 10 of them. Lions are apex predators of Africa. They know they are the rulers of the continent. They will fight off any enemy that encroaches upon their territory, meaning for some extremely bloody battles. So will the African wild dogs test this theory? Is the battle going to turn out horribly for them, or do they have a puncher's chance? African wild dogs. When you think of vicious wild canines, you probably think of wolves first, and we don't blame you. 4 different species of wolf are the 4 largest wild canines on average, including number 1, the grey wolf. But coming in at number 5 is the African wild dog, and he is not to be overlooked. In fact, it's impossible to overlook him. A pack of grey wolves could be 4 to 8 wolves. A pack of African wild dogs tend to go out of control. Normally a pack is about 7 to 20 members strong, but it is not uncommon at all for the pack to be 40 strong. Seriously, you can't miss them. We mentioned you'd be unlucky to see a lion because that means there's likely 5 to 9 more lions nearby. Well, if you see an African wild dog, there's likely another 19 around the corner, maybe another 39 around the corner. It's like a small army, but the soldiers are on 4 legs, and they don't get served in a mess hall. They kill for their meals. African wild dogs are bulky and solidly built, about 30 inches at the shoulder, about 3 feet long, and can weigh up to 80 pounds. Similar to the lion versus tiger complex, you'd rather be in a room with one African wild dog versus one grey wolf. But when it comes to the packs, the difference of 8 to 40, that gets a lot scarier. African wild dogs are excellent hunters with vastly superior communication skills compared to many other pack hunters. Their bite force of about 320 psi isn't like a lion's bite or a wolf's bite, but is right around the level of a Rottweiler, and it will deliver enough pain, especially if you're feeling it 40 times from all 40 members of the pack. African wild dogs are ruthless, often chasing their prey to the point of exhaustion, jumping atop it, and then all the dogs latch on with their mouths and pull the prey apart. And interestingly enough, African wild dogs, though much smaller than lions, hunt a lot of the same animals. Antelope, zebras, wildebeest, it's as if they don't care that they're smaller, they're still going to take down large animals. Here's another interesting thing about African wild dogs, and it's something that very nearly made them the deadliest predators on the planet. There's a way of measuring the bite force of animals known as BFQ, the bite force quotient. This takes the size of the animal into account, so it is determining the strength of a bite per the animal's size. In theory, if 2 animals have the same bite force, but if one animal weighs less, then its BFQ is higher. And among all the land predators, one of the highest BFQs, higher than cougars and cheetahs and grey wolves and lions, is the African wild dog, a BFQ of 138. This is the pound-for-pound argument with boxers, knowing all fighters are a different weight, but who is the best pound for pound? So if all things were equal, if all animals had their measurables multiplied and they were all the same size and weight, then the African wild dog could have the worst bite in the animal kingdom. But not all things are equal. African wild dogs are not the same size as lions. Then again, if we look at a pride of lions and we look at a pack of African wild dogs, you're going to see a lot of body mass on the African wild dog side. That's a lot of bodies. That's a lot of hungry, snarling mouths. They have the numbers on their side, but do they have the right numbers? Is it enough for them to beat a pride of lions? Cats versus dogs. It's time for cats versus dogs, but the setting isn't a household or a residential neighborhood in suburban America, because it isn't those types of cats and dogs. The setting is the unforgiving terrain of Africa, out in the wild, a place where humans wouldn't dare to be found because thousands of wild eyes with bad intentions are staring out from hiding places, ready to kill, ready to eat. And our pride of lions comes walking up to the scene, and their dozens of eyes have spotted the dozens of African wild dogs sauntering up to the same spot. No one likes that the other party is here. Territories are at stake. The one way to claim the territory back is to rid it of the opponent, by any means necessary. The pride of lions may be 10 strong, perhaps led by a coalition of a few males, experts in battling other males and keeping their territory, killing when necessary, and several females, experts in stalking, hunting, and taking down large animals. The African wild dogs are smaller, but they outnumber the lions easily. 2 or 3 dozen of them. We're looking at more than 3 African wild dogs per lion. Quick math tells us the lions still retain the overall weight advantage in all likelihood. If you have 3 African wild dogs for each lion, that's 3 80-pounders for each 500-pounder. The lions are powerful. If 3 African wild dogs attacked each one of them simultaneously, the lion would still have an excellent chance of fighting all of them off. But African wild dogs are intelligent. They'd see they had the advantage with the numbers, but they'd also know the lions still had more mass on their side. The African wild dogs would need to take that advantage of more numbers and use it. Remember, they are phenomenal communicators. They'd communicate the plan quickly. The name of the plan? Overload. While several African wild dogs distracted several of the lions, many of the dogs would single out 1 or 2 of the lions. 10 dogs per lion completely overpower them. 10 dogs per 1 lion, the lion would have next to no shot of making it out of that one alive. 10 mouths biting down, yanking, pulling apart, And soon the lions would be down from 10 to 8, and the African wild dogs could implement the plan again and again and again until the numbers of the lions kept dwindling. So plan overload would have an excellent possibility of working for the African wild dogs. That BFQ would work in their favor if they were the same size as the lions, and though they are not, if you stack up multiple dogs together, they are larger than the lions. What's a lion to do if he's getting bitten from 10 different angles? But there are two things to note here. One, the African wild dogs need to execute this plan perfectly, because if they don't attack simultaneously, the lion will be able to pick each one off with ease. A bite here, a bite there, a swipe of that powerful fist with claws extended. Don't give the lion time to go at them one at a time. And the second thing is, if the lions become privy to what the dogs are trying to do, they may attack before the dogs even can, not even allowing themselves to be put on the defensive. A lion pride is a feared thing for a reason. It is one of the most lethal entities walking the land of planet Earth. Just ask the antelopes. Lion prides are the reason they have intense anxiety. But one of the biggest challenges to the lion pride in Africa, and really anywhere in the world, is the African wild dog pack. They travel in large numbers. It's quite smart of them. It's their best strategy, to be many in numbers. Don't be surprised if a pack of African wild dogs actually took down a pride of lions. It's no guarantee, but it's also one of the best chances anyone has of taking down a pride of lions.